Hello and welcome back to Bums Breakdown. Today we're going to be previewing the upcoming Phoenix Rising game, the second time we play them already in 2 weeks now. Dylan, as always, is joining us. Dylan, we're going to start with the Sacramento game. Obviously, first loss of the season, first away game of the season. What are your thoughts on the game that's just gone this past weekend?
It was not a fun game to watch, but there's always going to be tough games, and I think Sacramento away is going to prove to be one of the toughest places to go and play. We didn't look fantastic, but as always, I try and look towards the positives, and I think that there are some good things to take away. So hopefully that's what we'll dig into a little bit.
Starting on those good things, I wanna keep things nice and happy to begin with here. I've got a lot of notes here, mostly not too great, but positive to start with. What can you take away from that game?
Well, I think that uh the press looked good at times. So that continues to be a nice development this season. Elliot Collier had a very nice performance, I thought. He stood out for me, created some free kicks and had a chance of his own. So those are two big things that I definitely just stood out to me. Also, of course, Koke. Got to give some love to Koke with that incredible save.
Yeah, I'm obviously Koke again for the second week in a row. I mean, easily could have got another man of the match, and obviously, went to Corona come the end. But obviously, Koke had another great game, and easily we could have conceded 2, 3 more goals if it wasn't for him there as well. Um, I want to take things a bit back here as far as kind of the not so good things here. Essentially, I've got here obviously Sacramento. We know how good they are. Their high press with those front three again work wonders for them. And it kind of was similar to the Detroit City game as far as that they forced us into doing long balls. It didn't work out for us, and then kind of we lost a header on that second ball. We didn't end up winning. So obviously very similar to the Detroit game. And also here, kind of giving away super fouls in the opposition's kind of final third here. Really, like you mentioned there too, our press has been great so far this season, but the way we kind of lined up with the front two wasn't great in that front press. Essentially, giving away those super fouls allows them to get a free long ball into a half without us even being able to use the pressure, which has kind of worked so well for us. Aside from those few points there, anything else that kind of stood out for you as far as things we can improve on moving forward?
Yeah, we need to find a way to get our strikers involved when teams are focusing on taking them away from us. I think that's a big thing that Sacramento did that really caused us to struggle, especially in that second half once Damas came on. They just worked hard to cut off the ball into the striker, and it kind of nullified our buildup. So we need to get better at finding ways to get our strikers involved.
And that's the thing I had here. Obviously, Damas came on, I think the 55th minute for Conway. After Conway did miss an absolute sitter, I think got here in 16th minute. And aside from that, I think we only really had one other chance, I believe, which came to Collier. We could have either passed it across to Conway, but went for goal himself here. But yeah, it was tough for Damas. Obviously, we know how good he can be. Didn't get on the ball too much, which again is not great when you've got a guy of kind of that caliber up top. And then here, really, that again we had kind of Toomey come off the bench. Toomey didn't, it still doesn't look himself this season. And I think kind of going off the creativity in attack, we haven't really got too many players that look like they can beat a man and at least want to try and do that. And kind of throughout the game, I kind of tried looking for that, and there wasn't really many opportunities for them to do that. And then when Sacramento did play in that low block come the end, it looked like we didn't have any kind of idea what to do at times, which again, it's going to come plenty often in the season. It's when teams figure out how good we are and how good we can be, that they sit back and kind of defend. And again, Detroit City, going back to that first game, they did that very well. And again, we have to figure out a way to be able to break that down. Otherwise, it's going to be a long season. And I know we're kind of only 3 games in, but that's still kind of one kind of highlight for me, is that we need to figure out ways to either be able to beat a man, have some more creativity in the attack, or at least more movement there as well to kind of allow players to move around and kind of create that space. Any kind of last words on the Sacramento game before we move on here? I know it's obviously you never want your team to lose, but I know we mentioned on the last one too about kind of it being a little bit of a wake up call. Do you think that's kind of what's happened now?
Yeah, I think it's fair to say that it's a wake up call, but I would also encourage people not to get too negative just yet. We're 3 games in. This was our first road game. We uh, like I said, Sacramento's a fantastic team. I fully expect them to finish in the top three of the West. I think playing against a team like them on the road this early was a great test. We didn't pass, but that's okay. That's how you get better, right? You learn from those experiences. So I think that even in a loss, this will be a big moment for Loyal this season. How can we build from this? But to transition into the Phoenix game, I would just like to point out last season, we won both of our first two games, which were at home. Then we lost our first road game 1-0, and then beat Phoenix in our fourth game in Phoenix. So I would just like to say this season we've won our first two home games, lost our third game, first road game 1-0, and now our fourth game is in Phoenix. Anyway, with that,
Dylan's got his little crystal ball out here. But yeah, I mean, I would love for that to happen again. I said it. We can kind of don't want to kind of make things look too bad. We lost 1-0 again, but I don't think apart from that, and when they scored a header from a set piece, aside from that, I think we look good. Those opportunities for us, obviously, and for them as well. But it could have easily gone either way, and to kind of go toe to toe with a team like Sacramento kind of shows how good we are at this stage of the season. When I think we still have a lot of things to improve on. But obviously, moving on to the Phoenix game coming up this weekend. Phoenix haven't played a game since we last played them. Obviously, we all know how that last game went. Obviously, 3-0 to us at home. But again, they are still a mixed bag, is really what to expect. I wouldn't say Phoenix are all over the place. Again, they've had a lot of turnover this season. A new manager came in partway through last season, so kind of seeing how he wants to shape that team. And we obviously know how good some of the players can be for them. Going off the last Phoenix game, though, I mean, do you believe they are going to be a lot tougher to break down this time than last time?
I think they will be tougher to beat. I don't know if they'll necessarily be tougher to break down. I fully expect that this will be a high-scoring game, and the reason for that, I can elaborate more later. But I think that they're going to come out hot. This is their first home game of the season in a new stadium. I'm pretty sure they'll have dollar beer night, which I think they are previously undefeated on. So they're going to be amped up. They're a team that loves to press. So we're a team that likes to press. I think it's going to be a pretty high scoring affair.
I hope so, mainly for us to score plenty of goals in this game. I think I said that the attacking threat is still to be worked on, but again, this is a game that we can we'll have plenty of opportunities, plenty of space to get in behind. And like I said, they're a home opener. Both teams, I guess, have a point to prove now. We'll have our first loss of the season. They don't want to lose. Phoenix don't want to lose to us twice in the space of 2 weeks. So it's going to be a very tough one. And then moving into their lineup, we've got it here. Essentially, I think we kind of go off of primarily. I think they're going to play the same lineup somewhat as the last game. Can you talk us through how we think they're going to line up?
Yeah, like Max said, they haven't played a game since we last played them, so we don't have too much to go off of. But I think we're expecting that it'll more or less be the same lineup. Rios Nova will be in goal, of course. He's a big part of how they play in build-up. I would guess King and Traore will be the fullbacks. But again, they had, I think Gabby Torres, I think was his name, was another fullback that I thought looked good when he came on for them. So, we'll see who they pick there. The center backs will probably be Crutzen and Lambert again. Lambert, I will say, is nailed on. He's one of their guys. Crutzen, I think, seemed like he's been playing well. I don't know if when Mayor will be back, though. He got injured in their first game of the season against Charleston. So that's kind of how I think the back line will shape up. But again, it's just so hard to say.
Yeah, it's tough, especially with the way the injury reports go and whatnot in USL. You can't really predict the other teams if someone's back already or not. Lambert obviously went away to international duty with Jamaica as well. Deserve him. Again, he's a great centre back, and I thought he did well against us last time. And then moving into the midfield here, again, we all know how good Danny Trejo is. We kind of went through how good he was in the last episode. Didn't do too well. It didn't even look like he played in the last game. So, again, I know he's got a point to prove this time as well. Zambrano probably will start in the midfield with them. We don't know whether Harvey is going to come back or stay in the lineup from the last game. Hernandez could come back in. So we'll see them. But we've kind of penciled in Hernandez possibly going to come back in. I'll stick with Harvey. We'll stick with Harvey. We'll stick with the last game. Hernandez is still a doubt. And then obviously got here Fede Varela on the left, and then the front two of Coelho and Ortega again. As far as their kind of midfield and front 3-4 go, aside from Trejo, anyone else that you want to keep an eye out for the weekend?
Well, I will actually say that I do think Trejo. I expect to see him get forward more than he did initially in that game we played the other week. He kind of was coming out wide, starting wide in their defensive shape and moving forward before, but he just felt kind of wasted there. Like you said, he didn't get too involved in the game. And I think later in the game, when they actually did start to create some chances, part of the reason for that was moving him forward. So again, it's hard to say because they haven't played another game, but I wouldn't be shocked if they shook it up by moving Trejo forward.
Yeah, I mean, I could almost see him switching sides with Varela. I know Coelho dropped a little bit deeper, but yeah, like I said, Trejo just, again, he looked kind of, I wouldn't say lost in the team, but he didn't look like his normal self, and I guess the kind of formation and shape wasn't kind of suited to him, but definitely he'll be one that I know come this weekend, he'll more than likely be in more of an attack and role and kind of get more involved in the game. And then moving quickly off of Phoenix team here, looking into our team, Kyle Adams back from international break, we hope, back into the lineup. And then we have Charlie Adams here as well, potentially back in after injury. Now he was on the bench the last game, didn't play any minutes at all. And then we got Ebby out for the season, or for a long time, an ACL, hopefully a speedy recovery for Ebby there. But looking into our lineup here, we'll start with the back kind of 3-5. How do we foresee that playing out in the Phoenix game?
Well, we saw against SAC that Ebby was out, and based on the fact that the team were wearing Stay Strong Ebby t-shirts, I'm going to guess he's not coming back anytime soon. So let's hope he recovers quickly. He's been really important for us thus far this season. So with that in mind, I really hope Kyle Adams is back in the country and ready to go after making his international debut. Congratulations to him. So I'm gonna go optimistically Simba on the right, Stoneman in the middle, and Kyle Adams on the left. And then for the wingbacks, I know Bodley's made a couple starts now, but I would like to see Elijah come back in on the right wingback, and that could move Moon over to the left. I think Moon is better on the left. I think he provides more of an attacking threat on the left, so I would like to see that pairing in the wingbacks.
Yeah, I obviously agree with everything you said there. I think that kind of back three is as strong as I think we have with Ebby out right now. I know Elijah did well when he played at centre back against Sacramento, kind of stepping forward too and joining that midfield a little bit. But I do think that's probably the best five in the starting five. Go. Obviously, I know Bodley had a few good games, but I do think Elijah and Moon are the better fullbacks in there. And then moving into the midfield here. Again, last game we played with the midfield 3. First 2 games was more of a midfield 2. How do you think we're going to line up with a 2 or a 3 against Phoenix now after the SAC game?
I think we'll see us play closer to what we did against Phoenix last time with more of a 2. With Corona definitely in there. If Charlie's fit, I would like to see him come back in. I don't know that Colin has had his strongest start to the season thus far, but I wouldn't be surprised to see us kind of go between a 5-3-2 and a 5-2-3, kind of depending on the state of the game and how high we're looking to press.
And obviously, with the fact that Guido no doubt will be a starter, he kind of gives us that opportunity to kind of switch between a midfield 2 or 3 there. So probably go with Charlie and Corona in there. Obviously, Charlie was out last game. The fact he didn't get any minutes last game means that I guess the injury may be a little bit worse than expected. But the fact he was even included on the bench means that he probably was good to go if there was the chance he needed to come on. And then moving into the front 3 we've got here. This is a tough one now, and I think we mentioned earlier on in the season on one of these episodes too that the front 2-3 was going to be tough to really call and go with. I think for me personally, we go with I think Damas finally starts after 2 games off the bench. Like I said, we knew he was going to be too good to keep on the bench, and I think after the last game kind of proves that we do need him there. It's just who else do you play off him? Obviously, we've got Guido as well. Do we think Collier makes another start, or Conway keeps his position in the team?
I hate to say it, but I do think Conway might drop to the bench. I think, like you said, Damas will start. His ability to provide an outlet, on the break will be huge, and he's a great presser. So I think in kind of both of our, you know, attacking and defense, Damas is going to be huge for us. So I agree. I think he'll make his first start. And then Guido obviously nailed on. We kind of alluded to that already. But yeah, I think Collier will take that last spot. He's looked really good when he's come on. He started against Sac and created one of our only real chances of the game and looked lively on the ball, won some fouls. So I think too that maybe Conway is lacking a little self belief this season. That missed chance definitely looked like it got to him a little bit, in my opinion. So maybe having him come off the bench is a good way to kind of just like reset, give him a chance to just come into a game and just do what he does.
And obviously, whenever you do get dropped as a striker, you kind of always you basically either go two ways. You can either sit there and sulk, or you can say, "Hey, maybe I'm not playing good enough right now. Let me obviously prove to the manager I deserve to be starting." And that's what you want in the team. You want healthy competition. You want kind of players fighting for their place. So again, it might give him the kind of boost he needs to kind of go on this season. But yeah, I do think that Collier does start over them, especially after how well he's been playing recently. And then we're going to move into kind of key matchups and kind of how we expect the game to go. We've obviously got here both teams looking to bounce back after defeat. Phoenix losing to us and us to Sacramento. And then can Danny Trejo get more involved in the game? And I got here also question marks as well as can Guido step up? Can we see more attacking fluidity? And then how does our shape look after moving to a midfield three? As far as the matchups and kind of key points go in this game, what do you believe they are going to be?
I think the biggest question will be the same thing it was 2 weeks ago: is who can press better and who can play through the press better. I don't know that we'll see the most fluid attacking play in this game. I think we're going to see a lot of turnovers high up the pitch. But like I said, I am expecting a high scoring game. I would love if all those goals were on Loyal's side, but I don't know. We'll see about that. But yeah, I think the big question is going to be how successfully can we press Phoenix / how successfully can they play through our press?
Yeah, and it's going to be a tough one. And I know, I mean, I kind of thought about this before we actually started this episode as far as kind of how would teams line up if they were to beat us. And as far as we kind of look at the Detroit game where we struggled a little bit and the Sacramento game, if Phoenix were to sit in, kind of defend deep, get like a narrow shape, I think they will do well in the game. But the thing is, I don't think Phoenix is going to play that way, which again works in our favor here. Again, we want teams to be open. We want them to create space, and I think they will do that. Like I said, which will definitely work in our favor. And then, kind of moving into predictions now for the game, we'll go. I'll go first here this time. I'm going with a 2-1 win. I still think it'll be close. I think every game of the season I've gone with them scoring the other team scoring one goal. I hope Koke gets another clean sheet. I've gone with Fede Varela scoring the goal for them and Guido and Damas scoring the goals for us. I think Guido, again, like we spoke about before, and I think on the Phoenix episode, with Guido scoring the winner in the away game, hopefully repeats this time. And I think if Damas starts, no doubt he'll get a few chances and definitely take one of them. And Dylan, for you, what are you predicting for this game?
I had a hard time picking my prediction for this game because I really can see this game going one of two ways. If we are able to get an early goal, I think that could take the air out of that stadium, and we could get a lot of space and see a lot of goals. If Phoenix get an early goal, we might be in for a rough night. So, I think I'm going to go 3-1 Loyal as a final, with Trejo scoring for Phoenix, and then Guido, Damas, and Collier scoring for Loyal. So, not dissimilar to your prediction, but I don't know. This one makes me nervous because I think that this is either going to be one where it's going to be a defining game, either in a positive or a negative way, and I would just really like it to be a positive one.
Yeah, I don't want to be going into the fifth game of the season with kind of 2 wins, 2 losses. Obviously, I'm going to take 2 wins out of 3 for the first 3. But if we lose this game, it could be... it's not going to be a long season, but this is one where we should be winning. We should be expecting to be winning. And obviously, I know Phoenix have a lot going for them. New stadium, their home opener, point to prove after losing 3-0 for the last rivalry game as well. But again, like I said, this could be a defining game of our season. If we win here, we can kind of forget about the last game. But if things don't go our way, we could be thinking twice about the rest of the season. But that'll wrap things up there. We will be back next week. Next week, I do believe Open Cup is next week or the week after.
Open Cup is next week. I believe. I'm not 100% on this. Don't quote me, but Wednesday the 5th, I believe.
Perfect. So next week, Open Cup game, and then the following weekend, there'll be another game which we will be previewing. And again, thank you for watching or listening, and we will see you guys soon.